Hi, this is Julie with Beadaholique, and today I want to show you how to do a standard 8-warp Kumihimo braid using long Magatama beads. So this is what Magatama beads look like. You'll see they're kind of like little dagger shapes, and they've got a hole that goes all the way through, and you'll see that they're very, they're not irregular in terms of the uniformity between each bead, but just the shape of the bead itself is kind of this irregular abstract shape, which creates a really interesting, almost scaled effect when you kumihimo it. And here's one I've done. Now, the basic 8-warp braid is the stripes here of the white and the blue. And then I went in after the entire bracelet was done and added these little red embellishments by just stitching them into the braid with a needle and thread. And this is actually the same technique as used to make a standard 8-warp beaded kumihimo braid, just using regular seed beads. So it was the same process that was used for both these bracelets, but there's a couple little things that you need to do when you are using the Magatama beads. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to cut your Super-Lon cord, or whatever cord you're using. This works really well because it goes easily through the braid. And you'll see I've actually already preloaded my beads onto my bobbins and actually set up my braiding board. We have another video on Beadaholique.com showing you how to do the standard 8-warp beaded kumihimo braid, which is this bracelet here, and I'll go through how to set this all up and create a little weight. But I want to show you the technique, and I want to show you the special particularities with the Magatama beads. So when you do have your cut length and you're stringing on your Magatama beads, if you were to just string them like a normal bead, just going through the hole, just going to do a couple here and show you what's going to happen. Okay, so I've just strung some. And because the hole's at an angle, if you can see this, now I just did them randomly and got actually most of them on right, and going the same direction, but then you'll notice that some are facing the other direction. That's because that hole is at an angle. And you don't want that. What you're going to want is you're going to want all your beads to line up and face the same direction as you see here. You can see the difference. Here at the end we have them going in a different direction. And to do that, you just got to pay close attention to where you're entering from. So here the hole is up top, so I'm going to enter down there, and it's going to slide down, and then you'll just match it with all your beads. So just make sure they all go in the same direction, and that'll give you a nice uniform look. So like I mentioned, I do have this already preloaded. I've got 8 strands with my beads on the bobbins. And I'm going to do this spiral design here as well. So I've got the same color on one end between the 16, and then I've got the same color on the slots between the 32, and then over here I've got the same color between the 8 and between the 24. So same process as any other kumihimo braid. We're going to start out and braid a little bit without beads. So we're going to take the left one up and the right one down, and then we're going to rotate counterclockwise, and then we're going to take the left one up, the right one down, rotate, and it's just this repetitive motion. And like I mentioned, we do have another video on Beadaholique.com showing how to do the beaded kumihimo in a little bit more in depth, but I want to show you how to do it with the Magatamas. So left up, right down, rotate, and we're going to do this until we have about 1/4 of an inch braided. All right, I've got about 1/4 of an inch braided, and you'll notice when I stopped with the left strand up. And that way I've got 3 strands up top, 1 at the bottom. So if I wanted to put this down right now, walk away, come back to it in a couple hours or a couple days, I would know exactly where I left off, and I would know I'd need to pull the right one down. So I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to add my first Magatama, and this is why it's really important that these all face the same direction so that your scales look like they're all going in the same direction, flush. So we're going to slip that bead under the next warp and it's going to catch. And then we're just going to place the strand up to the left like we've done with our regular braiding without the beads. So again, I'm going to drop a Magatama in there and I'm going to catch, you'll notice I'm catching the top of the Magatama. So the little dagger is facing outward. So I'm going to secure that. And I'm just going to keep dropping a Magatama into that well, catching the top part of it underneath the braid next to it and pulling the strand up to the top. Again, drop it down. And I don't want my dagger to face inward. I want it to face outward and catch. So you see this one right here is trying to face inward. I don't want it to do that, so I'm just going to manipulate it a little bit. Use my finger just so that it faces a little bit more outward. So you can pull it back out, let it drop down again, and then it will face outward hopefully, or you'll just keep adjusting it until it faces outward. It's okay if they face to the side, you just don't want them to face inward. So I'm going to keep doing this until I have my desired length, and then I'm going to show you what I end up with. And it's the same process over and over again. It's just the repetition of the steps. As you can see, I've braided quite a bit here, and I am about, 2/3 done with my necklace. And I wanted to show you what this will look like now. So it does look like scales, and you can see that all of the daggers, or the Magatamas, are facing downwards, and that gives it a really nice uniform look. You can see we've got a little spiral going because we alternated a matte and a gloss finish. But I do want to show you, if you look carefully, up here I actually put a bead on backwards, and that is what happens. You can see that if you look closely, the tip faces this way instead of facing down, and it just creates a little bit of a glitch. I'm not too concerned about it because it's just one bead. But that's why you again want to make sure that you string your beads all in the same direction, unless you are going for a more messy look, which is totally fine. But if you do want to have a nice sleek look to your braid, you will want to have those going in the same direction. And I'm just going to continue braiding with the same technique I've been doing this whole time, where it's just take a bead, let it drop down, pull it tight, rotate. Another one, take a bead, let it drop down, up to the left, then the right goes down, drop a bead, catch it under that little thread right there, and go down, and then rotate, and just continue on your way until you have reached your desired length.